This is the National Baseball Hall of Fame. There's just one problem. The best baseball player of all time isn't in it. Barry Bonds holds the MLB record for career home runs with 762 and walks with 2,558, 688 of them intentional. He also holds the single-season record for home runs with 73, as well as slugging, on-base percentage, and walks. Add in 7 MVPs, the most in MLB history, in addition to 12 Silver Sluggers and 8 Gold Gloves, and you get the most decorated individual in the history of this great game. So why isn't he in the Hall of Fame? Well,
baseball's all-time home run leader Barry Bonds has been indicted on charges of perjury and obstruction of justice for telling a federal grand jury he did not knowingly use performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah, this story is one of the wildest and most controversial in all of sports. But at the heart of it is one hell of a player. So, let's find out how good Barry Bonds actually was. Barry Bonds has always been surrounded by controversy. At Arizona State, he clashed with his teammates so much that the coaches had the players vote on whether or not he should be kicked off the team. He was by far their best player, and the majority of the team still voted to boot him. Fortunately for Barry, he stayed because the vote was not unanimous. Bonds, teammate issues aside, was incredible in college, to absolutely no one's surprise. In 3 seasons as a Sun Devil, Bonds hit .347 with 45 home runs and 175 RBIs over 192 total games. He led ASU to the College World Series twice before being drafted by the Pirates with the 6th overall pick in 1985. It didn't take long for Barry to make it to the bigs. In May 1986, at age 21, he made his debut, and his talents were immediately evident. Manager Jim Leyland was so impressed with Bonds' all-round ability that he moved him to the leadoff spot as a rookie. He went on to play 113 games in '86, hitting .223 with 16 home runs and an impressive 36 steals. That was enough to land him 6th in Rookie of the Year voting. Over the next couple of seasons, Bonds gradually improved his average and home run totals while cutting down his strikeouts. He crossed the 20-homer threshold in '87, then in '88, he hit above .280 for the very first time. In '89, he walked as many times as he struck out for the first time in his career with 93 of each. Amazingly, Bonds would never have a season in which he struck out more than he walked for the rest of his career. In 1990, his 5th year in the league, Barry Bonds broke through into superstardom. He won MVP, a Silver Slugger, a Gold Glove, made his first All-Star Game appearance, and led the Pirates to an NL East title. It was the franchise's first playoff appearance in 11 years, meaning Bonds had now fully established himself as a fan favorite. While Ken Griffey Jr. and Rickey Henderson were the biggest names in the sport, Bonds had emerged as the king of the National League, and he was just getting started. He stayed in Pittsburgh for 2 more seasons, winning 2 more Silver Sluggers, 2 more Gold Gloves, and another MVP. By 1992, he was the face of baseball and the most dominant regular season player in the sport. However, the playoffs were a different story. The Buccos dominated the NL East at that time, thanks in large part to Bonds, winning it in '90, '91, and '92. But they lost in the NL Championship Series all 3 seasons, with Bonds batting a measly .191 in his Pirates playoff career. In 20 playoff games, he hit just 1 home run and had 3 RBIs. The most heartbreaking moment didn't even come at the plate though. In '92, Bonds had a chance to keep Pittsburgh alive playing left field.
He hacked to the 2-0, now the 2-1. Line drive and a base hit! Just as the score of the tying run. Bream to the plate. And he is safe! Safe at the plate! The Braves go to the World Series!
It was a great effort from Bonds, but Francisco Cabrera's walk-off single officially eliminated the Pirates, marking Pittsburgh's 3rd straight postseason appearance without a series win. Players and fans alike were distraught. Bonds had accomplished everything under the sun as an individual in black and gold, but team success evaded the Bucs. Now, Bonds, as the most sought-after player in the game and the face of baseball, was officially a free agent. He had a decision to make, and the entire country was waiting with bated breath. He ultimately decided to return home.
Thank you for coming. Bob Quinn, Larry Baer, Walter Shorenstein, and I all wanted to invite the local media here to meet our newest giant, last year's most valuable player, Barry Bonds. Welcome home.
See, Bonds was raised in the Bay Area. His father, Bobby, was a Giant himself for 7 seasons. It was a perfect and record-breaking homecoming. Barry made more history, signing a 6-year, $43.75 million contract with San Francisco, the largest contract in baseball history, both by total amount and by annual pay. And boy, was it a worthwhile investment for the Giants. In his first year in San Francisco, Bonds won MVP. He led the league in home runs, RBIs, total bases, and OPS. The team went 103-59, but missed out on the postseason because the Braves won 104 games. Regardless, Bonds had found his home, and it had taken him no time at all to settle in. Over the next 6 years, number 25 kept mashing. From 1993 to 1998, Bonds was the best all-around player in the game. He was an all-star 6 years, won 5 Gold Gloves and 4 Silver Sluggers. By 98, Bonds had made history. He became the first player ever to join the 400-400 club. That's 400 steals and 400 home runs. He was, quite literally, the perfect five-tool player. He could do everything, but words alone don't do him justice.
Nobody in the decade of the 90s has more home runs, more RBIs, more runs scored than that man.
And they're walking him with the bases loaded and intentional walk to Barry Bonds.
Unbelievable.
That's right, he drove managers to do things nobody had ever seen before. He was unbelievable. He was already good enough to be a Hall of Famer had he retired on the spot. Bonds was the consensus best player of the 90s, but despite his amazing stats and consistency, he hadn't won an MVP in 5 seasons. Defense and steals weren't the focus of the new modern game. That game was defined by power hitters, unlike anything fans had ever seen before.
Down the left field line, is it enough? Gone! There it is! 62! Touch first, Mark. You are the new single-season home.
Enter Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, the faces of a new era of baseball and the greatest regular season spectacle in MLB history. In 1998, their home run race captivated the nation. When all was said and done, McGwire hit 70 homers with St. Louis, while Sosa, the Chicago Cub, hit 66 and took home MVP. There was an asterisk though. They, along with a number of other stars in the game, did it with the help of performance-enhancing drugs, giving the 90s and early 2000s the steroid era moniker. Bonds hit 37 home runs himself in 1998, an impressive number, but a far cry from Mark and Sammy. It wasn't good enough for him. He was getting older and felt like he needed to catch up. According to a book written by then San Francisco Chronicle reporters Mark Fainaru-Wada and Lance Williams called Game of Shadows, 1998 was Barry Bonds' final clean season. In the 90s, the Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative, or BALCO for short, was starting to develop what were known as designer PEDs that were untraceable by MLB testing. Greg Anderson, a trainer and an old friend of Barry's, reconnected with Bonds and started providing a liquid made by BALCO known as the Clear. The Clear was one of BALCO's new and improved, supposedly undetectable performance enhancers. Bonds used it to help his arm recover, and as he's claimed for decades now, had no idea it was a PED. The results make that hard to believe. Bonds grew at a seemingly impossible rate. His hat and jersey size increased out of nowhere, and he went from looking like this to looking like this. After a mediocre 1999 season, he hit 49 homers as a 35-year-old in 2000. Then it happened. The 2001 season. It truly was unlike anything baseball fans had ever seen.
There's a high drive, deep into right center field to the big part of the ballpark. Number 71, and what a shot! Over the 421-foot marker. The deepest part of any ballpark in the National League, and Barry Bonds is now.
Yeah, McGwire's record didn't last long. Bonds ended up hitting 73 homers that season, a record that stands to this day. He also led the league in walks with a whopping 177, and he took home his 4th career MVP, 8 years removed from his last. In 2002, he hit 370 with 46 homers, winning MVP again. And finally, a decade removed from his October woes in Pittsburgh, he got the playoff monkey off his back.
Into right field, a base hit. The throw by Drew to the plate. The Giants are going
That Kenny Lofton base hit won the Giants the NLCS. Bonds was finally going to the World Series, and the MVP wasn't going to let the chance slip away. He was unreal in the Fall Classic. Bonds, in 7 games against the Angels, recorded 8 hits and 13 walks, 7 intentional, combining for an OBP of 700. He mashed 4 home runs, drove in 6 runs, and scored 8 times. It is still widely considered the greatest World Series hitting performance of all time. But, as we all know, offense is only half the game. Unfortunately for Bonds, the Giants' bullpen imploded and squandered a 5-run lead in Game 6. Then, San Francisco lost 4-1 in Game 7. Bonds, despite all of his successes, was still ringless. Not too long after that, things got even worse. Remember Balco? Well, in 2003, it was investigated and raided, as was Anderson, Bonds' trainer. It became so big that in December of 2003, Bonds had to testify in front of a federal grand jury, where he denied knowingly using any performance enhancers, claiming he thought the creams just helped his hurt arm. The news sent shockwaves throughout America. Bonds began receiving criticism from many writers and fans, and reporters peppered him with questions. His approach? Deny, deny, deny. He was booed on the road routinely, and many of his numbers were seen as tainted.
I remember seeing Bonds talking to about 30 reporters, and at one point, he looked up at all of us and said, "You know what? You guys, if you got something, then write it. Otherwise, shut the up."
Did it affect Bonds on the field, though? Hell no. He won another MVP in 2003 as the Giants won over 100 regular season games, but ultimately flamed out in the NLDS. 2004? Yeah, more of the same. Bonds won his 4th consecutive MVP, and he did it at 40 years of age. His game dropped from its previous MVP level in his 40s, but Bonds was still getting on base at a ridiculous rate, leading the league in on-base percentage in 2006. Then, in 2007, he delivered arguably the most iconic swing in baseball history.
3 balls and 2 strikes. The overshift is on, and Bassick deals. And Bonds hits one high, hits it deep, it is out of here! 7:56. Bonds stands alone. He is on top of the all-time home run list.
He had done the seemingly impossible. Nobody thought Hammer and Hank Aaron's record would ever be touched. But Bonds, at 43, did it, and to this day, stands alone at the top with 762 career home runs. He played his final game in the fall of 2007, capping a remarkable 22-year career. Bonds' farewell tour didn't last long. That same year, he was indicted on 4 counts of perjury and 1 count of obstruction of justice. Then, in a 2011 trial, groundbreaking claims came from somebody no one expected. Kimberly Bell, Bonds' former mistress, claimed Bonds had admitted to knowingly using steroids to help recover from an injury back in 1999. He continues to deny knowingly using any PEDs. Ultimately, Bonds was found guilty on the obstruction of justice charge for giving an evasive testimony to a question during the Balco investigation, but that conviction was overturned in 2015 and Bonds was exonerated. So, as we sit here today, Barry Bonds is officially guilty of absolutely nothing. While the baseball world is pretty confident he took PEDs, he still claims he didn't knowingly cheat and has a clean criminal record. Naturally, his legacy remains tarnished. Bonds sat idly on the Hall of Fame ballot for each of his 10 years of eligibility, never once reaching the 75% of votes needed to enter the Hall. In 2022, he officially fell off the ballot for good. Now, while his legacy remains debated, his achievements are undeniable. Bonds has the 2nd highest career WAR in baseball history at 164.4 per Fangraphs. If you remove the years he allegedly took steroids, his career WAR is still a whopping 99.9, which is the 29th best ever. In the 162-game era, which began in 1961, Bonds' career WAR is number 1, and pre-steroids Bonds is number 11. His awards, home run, and intentional walk numbers are so impressive they look fake. and many of the game's greatest players, from Willie Mays to Ken Griffey Jr., consider him to be the best hitter to ever pick up a bat. But despite those incredible accomplishments, he remains on the outside looking in, without a plaque in Cooperstown. So, with all of that in mind, where do you land? Should Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame? Let us know in the comments.